When the Los Angeles Dodgers signed Shohei Ohtani to a record-breaking 10-year, $700 million deal, it became the largest contract in sports history. Ohtani would go on to have one of the greatest individual seasons by a baseball player in MLB history, securing a .310 batting average, 197 hits, 130 RBIs, 81 walks, on his way to having the first ever 50-50 season, hitting 54 home runs and 59 stolen bases. The Dodgers would go on to win their first MLB World Series since the COVID win in the shortened season of 2020. Ohtani would win the NL MVP award unanimously, be first team All-MLB, win the Hank Aaron Award for the National League, the Edgar Martinez Award for Outstanding Designated Hitter, win the Silver Slugger for the NL DH position, and win his first ever World Series ring with the team. And by all accounts and statistics, have one of the greatest seasons we've ever seen from a player. But as we know, the Dodgers paid a pretty penny for it. But just how much did the Dodgers pay for each accomplishment that Ohtani had in 2024? Let's break it down. If you take the cost of Ohtani's total contract of $700 million and divide it by the total number of 10 years, you can find that the Dodgers are paying Ohtani an annual contract of $70 million. They deferred most of this money, but let's use that $70 million a year number anyway. Now let's take that $70 million number and divide it by each hit, RBI, home run, walk, and stolen base to figure out how much the Dodgers are really paying for Ohtani's insane production. $355,000 per hit, $538,000 per RBI, $1.3 million per home run, $864,000 per walk, and $1.2 million per stolen base, which in context looks like a lot of money. But how much money is it really? While players sign big contracts in the MLB every year, like most recently Juan Soto signed a 15-year, $765 million contract to play for the Mets for the next decade and a half. Max Fried signed an 8-year deal, $218 million contract to pitch for the Yankees. And Corbin Burnes signed a $210 million contract to pitch for the Diamondbacks for the next 6 years. Let's compare Ohtani's contract to some of the players signed in his own free agent class of 2023-2024, so we can have a relative comparison, because contract values change year after year. Cody Bellinger signed a 3-year deal for $26 million a year with the Chicago Cubs. Teoscar Hernandez signed a 1-year deal for $23.5 million with the Los Angeles Dodgers, while Jung-Ho Lee and Matt Chapman round out the rest of the top 5 highest annual salary position players for this free agent class. Cody Bellinger finished the season with a .266 batting average with 137 hits, 78 RBIs, 18 home runs, 45 walks, and 9 stolen bases. Certainly not in the same class as Ohtani's historic season, but still a good season overall nonetheless. But when you compare Bellinger's cost per hit, RBI, home run, walk, and stolen base to Ohtani's numbers, the numbers may surprise you. Cody Bellinger finished the season with a cost per hit of $194,000, compared to Ohtani's $355,000. A cost per RBI of $341,000, compared to Ohtani's $538,000. A cost per home run of $1.5 million compared to Ohtani's $1.3 million. A cost per walk of $592,000 compared to Ohtani's $864,000. And a cost per stolen base of $2.9 million compared to Ohtani's $1.2 million. Cody Bellinger has better value than Ohtani's, monetarily speaking, per the cost of a single statistic, in hits, RBIs, and walks, while Ohtani has the better value in home runs and stolen bases. But that got me thinking. Cody Bellinger had a good season, but not a great season like Ohtani. What if we compared a player that had a great season to Ohtani? Would they provide a better value to the team than Ohtani did to the Dodgers? Let's take another free agent from this class, one who had a great season, especially for the catcher position. This player hit for a .263 batting average, had 64 hits, 36 RBIs, 9 home runs, 27 walks, and 0 stolen bases. That player was Jacob Stallings of the Colorado Rockies. From the outside, none of these statistics are overwhelming, and many people may say this is a far worse season than Cody Bellinger. But let's add in the fact that Stallings has only signed a $1.5 million one-year deal. Then it changes the narrative a little bit. Stallings' cost per hit in 2024 was $23,000. His cost per RBI was $41,000. His cost per home run was $166,000, and his cost per walk was $55,000. Sure, Jacob Stallings didn't have the total production of either Cody Bellinger or Shohei Ohtani, but his cost per statistic was severely lower than both of these two star players. So let us track every 2023-2024 position player free agent and see how their contract costs compared to their statistical output to see if there was a player that stood out amongst the group. Obviously, no player in this class, or even in the league, had as good a statistical output than Shohei Ohtani. But that wasn't our goal. Our goal is to find the hidden gem, the player that signed a tiny contract and produced godlike numbers, the player that changed the franchise expectations as the year evolved, a player that can truly be crowned the new king of Moneyball. One player stood out above the rest. His contract was one of the most valuable contracts in all of baseball. He signed a one-year deal with his team for a small amount of $1 million. In fact, he made less money this MLB season than Bobby Bonilla, who hasn't played an MLB game since 2001. This player only made $260,000 more than the league minimum, and yet he still had an unbelievable season. In that season, he ended up hitting for a .280 batting average, with 158 hits, 85 RBIs, 24 home runs, 76 walks, and 10 stolen bases. This player ended up with the lowest cost per hit, cost per RBI, cost per home run, cost per walk, and cost per stolen base of every player tracked in this free agent breakdown. This was easily the steal of the year from a value standpoint. This breakdown doesn't include players signed from previous years or players under contract. It simply analyzes the free agent signing of 2023 and 2024 in that offseason. We can safely judge that from a pure offensive angle, this free agent signing was the best of the year in terms of the value, the cost per statistic, from the team's perspective. Well, enough praise for the team who signed him. Without further ado, that player that was extremely affordable and extremely productive was Jurickson Profar. In Profar's second season of his second stint with the San Diego Padres, he had a phenomenal year offensively, became a first-time All-Star player, and won Silver Slugger for the National League outfield, all on a one-year deal worth $1 million. As I believe in allocating your financial resources responsibly, I have to commend the Padres for giving Profar the opportunity to shine, and doing it on an extremely team-friendly deal. Profar finished the season with a cost per hit of just $6,000, a cost per RBI of only $11,000, a cost per home run of only $41,000, a cost per walk of only $13,000, and a cost per stolen base of only $100,000. When you compare him to guys like Shohei Ohtani, Cody Bellinger, and Jacob Stallings, you can see just how much of an absolute steal Profar was this past MLB season. I mean, this is highway robbery. The Padres gave Profar a chance to shine, and he ran with it, laughing in every other franchise's face as he put up an amazing season. When you add the cost of every single offensive statistic that we tracked for every position player, you can see how Profar stacks up to his free agent class. To put it simply, the higher this number, the worse value the team got from the player based on their offensive output for the cost of their contract. Guys like Jung-Ho Lee, Jorge Soler, and Tom Murphy round out the top of this list. Ohtani finds himself the 11th highest contract cost per statistical output. It isn't until you scroll across over 50 free agents until you hit guys like Matt Carpenter and Jacob Stallings. You have to scroll even further to hit Gio Urshela and Randall Gruchek. And then finally, you reach the man of the hour, Jurickson Profar, the lowest cost per statistical output of the entire class. Obviously, no player in the MLB provides more immeasurable value to their team, as Ohtani is the #1 player in the league. The impact that Shohei Ohtani has on the Dodgers is truly game-breaking. In addition to his 50-50 MVP season, he would also have 2 major countries, Japan and the United States, rooting for him, buying his jerseys and following him every step of his way. Shohei Ohtani was the #1 selling jersey in 2024, making his acquisition a slam dunk for the Los Angeles Dodgers. There is no player on this planet that I would rather have on my team right now than Ohtani. You can see the direct impact he has on the franchise on and off the field. Even though baseball is a team sport, he directly contributed to the Dodgers' amazing year. However, the king of Moneyball in the 2023-2024 season was Jurickson Profar, and no one can take that away from him.